Hello and welcome to the Working Tools Masonic Podcast, where today we'll be interviewing Worshipful Brother Ben Stagner.
Ladies and gentlemen, brethren all, welcome to the Working Tools Podcast, a casual conversation around Freemasonry. First, it's important to note that our opinions and thoughts are our own and do not reflect those of our Grand Lodge or respective craft or concordant bodies. Please connect with us and ask questions, either here on YouTube or on our Facebook page. We'd also appreciate a thumbs up and especially any comments on our videos.
Welcome to the Working Tools Podcast. I'm Matthew Appel. I'm a brother here in the great state of Washington, along with my compatriot, very worshipful brother David Colbeth, the other host of the show this evening. And we'll be interviewing Worshipful Brother Ben Stagner, who is the currently sitting Worshipful Master of University Lodge number 141 in Washington, and also is a tattoo artist here in the Seattle area. Welcome to the show, Ben.
Thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
Yeah, thanks for coming out. So we asked Ben here today because I was privileged to see a little presentation he did on the tattoo machine, and he did it down at Shoreline Lodge here in just north of Seattle, and it was really impressive. And we sort of wanted to ask him to come, but before we get to that, Ben, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? How did you become a Mason? How did you get into tattooing? Are they intertwined or are they separate events? Or
well, actually, yeah, they became intertwined. I actually started working at a tattoo shop as a shop hand when I was 19 years old. I just graduated high school, and I was actually working to become a nurse, which obviously didn't happen, but that was the original goal. And got a job at a tattoo shop down in Tacoma, and it was ran by a very old school, traditional ex-Marine, very salty, surly kind of guy, and that's kind of where I'd got my upbringing as far as work ethic, how to take pride in stuff that you do. It's a very self-sufficient type of job. It's one you really have to earn, and all the things that you learn in tattooing is traditionally you earn the knowledge that you get in a shop, or any respect that you get there. And I didn't immediately do tattooing. After that, I worked there for 2 years. And then I had about a 7-year gap where I did a bunch of other jobs. Nursing didn't work out, so I wound up basically anything I had a curiosity about, I dabbled into. So I was a union pipe fitter for 3 years. I worked managed a skate shop for a couple of years. Worked in auto body, worked in a motorcycle shop, worked as a sign painter, worked as a cook, and a couple other jobs here and there. But it all kind of wound up kind of circling back into tattooing. And then it wasn't too long, around the same time, a friend of mine, what I love about tattooing with interacting with people and having an impact, caused me to want to do more outside of tattooing. And a friend of mine, we were looking for volunteer things to do to help out, and nothing really stuck until I bought a fez at a secondhand store for a Halloween costume, actually. We were putting together kind of a James Bond villain. I was going to wear a fez and have a big curly mustache. I was going to twirl up, and another brother David Cho from, I believe it's a Daylight Lodge, saw me walking down the street with it, and he followed me into the tattoo shop. He followed me, and I didn't even see him behind me, and he got to my attention. I turned around, I was like, hey, Dave. He's like, hey, what's with the fez there? Like, oh, I got it for a costume. He goes, oh, he like had his hand out to shake it. He kind of puts it back in his pocket sarcastically. He goes, oh, I thought maybe you were a brother. And I had to know more. And the more I looked into it, the more questions I asked, and I looked on the website and got info off of that, and it was exactly what I was looking for.
That's awesome.
Sure enough, led to University Lodge 141. And it's been great since then. It's been 6 years of life-changing experiences for sure.
So do you know who that was? You said his name was David. Who was it that followed you in there?
David Cho.
David Cho, okay.
He's from Daylight Lodge. I believe he's a past master there too. I'm not sure how. I haven't kept up with him. I'm not sure what he's up to nowadays. But that was he was my intro. So that was crazy to see another tattoo artist who was a Mason who got me interested in it.
Oh, he did tattoos too?
Yes, he did. Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Talk about overlap. That's pretty well.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And as I went through my degree work, especially with the working tools and it being, like I said earlier, with tattooing, you earn the knowledge that you get. Right there was a pretty big parallel with Masonry, working towards your next degree, the memorization work, and also it being, you can't read those tools without being inspired to at least do some work in some form or another.
So that's a genuine apprenticeship as opposed to our apprenticeship where you're learning, but it tends to be a little abbreviated, shall we say?
Is it similar? Is it similar? Do they have like an apprentice type program, and then you like electrician or like union type of job? Is it?
Yes, it's a very traditional apprenticeship. You find the shop that you're going to go to. You meet somebody who you want to learn from. You ask them, and traditionally they say no. It's expected you go back and you ask again until they finally buckle down. But there's a lot of there can be a lot of work that gets put there, which is there's stories of you go guy asks for a tattoo apprenticeship, says no, but go draw 25 sheets of flash. If you ever go into a tattoo shop and you look on the walls, you see all the different artwork and stuff on there.
Mm-hmm.
So you can go in, you can pick something off the wall and get that tattooed on you. That artwork is called flash. And so what some guys will do is be like, go draw me 25 sheets of flash and come back, not expecting them to do it at all. But if they do return, they're earning that next step. And so it's kind of a buildup. You do 2 years worth of mopping and scrubbing and answering phones and dealing with customers and taking out the garbage. And it's really the whole time too, you're supposed to be watching and paying attention to what's going on. So when they ask, okay, now that you've been watching this whole time, break down my station. And then you get to prove how well you've been paying attention, how well you were learning. And then you go on to the next level, so on and so forth. And you got your apprenticeship. And then after that, you start doing small tattoos. So kind of your fellow craft, if you will. And then afterwards, once you start getting your own style down and you get more proficient in what you're doing, you become a master tattoo artist, and you do that till you're done tattooing.
It sounds like the hero's journey from the archetypes and the whole 9 yards. There, you got to ask 3 times. It sounds very familiar.
Right? Yeah, I was pretty blown away. The more I heard, the more meetings I attended, and the more I heard of the degree work and what came. Like, okay, that sounds familiar. Okay, all right, I'm digging this.
Very cool.
We've got a guy that's a lineman as an electrician, and it's very similar. They have a whole apprenticeship process, and it's like the same idea. He's very, very versed in that. You have to move. It's a step process, just like masonry. So he was pretty stoked to see that too. Awesome.
Is it? I would guess, just for my own edification, that the tattoo artist thing, I would guess, is usually more informal. Or like you said, you were a pipe fitter, a union pipe fitter. I'm sure that's a much more formalized process.
Yes. That was very much. You sign up. We did what's called a PTC PCT pre-construction training, where you go. It's much more a job.
Right. But this is much more informal, kind of.
Very informal. You show up, and if you get offered an apprenticeship, you're working whatever your normal job is, and you're showing up to scrub tubes and clean and do all that stuff. And really, it's again like that first little bit is to see if you have a connection with whoever you want to teach you a tattoo, and at any given point they could just be like, no, I'm not feeling this. We're done. It kind of really depends on your drive. There's no contract you're signing unless you really get into it, but there's no. It's very much what you put in the table. If you decide you don't want to do it, then they can be like, all right, if you're not pushing yourself, then I've got no reason to teach you. If you're not earning and proving that you want to learn the secrets of a tattoo artist, so to speak. So
if you and the lodge aren't a good fit, then you may have to go you may not be able to join that lodge.
Exactly. Yeah.
Very, very cool. I never really thought about the parallels before. That's really neat. So just something I thought of earlier today, just out of curiosity. It seems like more and more Masons I know are getting Masonic tattoos. Is that just my impression?
Go, Matt. Go, Matt. You can do it.
I've been informed that reliably by the person who shares my bed in the evenings that would not be a good choice for me. But to tell a stupid story, when I was in the Navy, I was in Thailand and I was threatening to get my warfare pin tattooed on my chest, and I was informed that I should not come home from Thailand if that were the case. So,
oh no!
Since then, I decided not to do that. Anyway, but it seems like Masonic tattoos are becoming more and more popular, and I sort of feel like Masons in general are conservative, not necessarily in the political sense, but in the steeped in tradition kind of sense. And yet Masonic tattoos, I mean, tattoos are seen, at least in some circles, as being, edgy and that sort of thing. Maybe it's not the case as much as it used to be, but Masonic tattoos seem to be more and more popular. Do you think there's a connection there that
I would say I think lodges are becoming a lot more diverse. I think the allure of Masonry is reaching a much wider audience, and especially what makes a good Mason isn't quite what we might have thought it was 20 years ago. Again, like I said, like I was introduced by a Mason who was a tattoo artist. I think the qualities you can find in anyone. It's just becoming more open, I think. I think, unfortunately, with the numbers that have kind of gone down in our past, and then building up, I think a lot more Masons are discovering. Maybe our older brothers are discovering too. Like you never know where they're going to come from. Who might surprise you as far as where you find character, where you find things that would make a good Mason. So I think that's one aspect of it. I think with stuff like reality TV shows for stuff like tattoos, I think people are able to get an education about what's possible with tattooing, what a tattoo artist is kind of like. Not taking it, I mean, definitely take those shows with a grain of salt, because you'll see a lot of trauma in them that I don't think really exists in the tattoo industry, but especially the artwork you can see. Also seeing what different kinds of people get tattooed. I think that takes a lot of the stigma away from, it's not just bikers, sailors, and criminals getting tattooed. And so I think there's a bit more openness to it.
Mm-hmm. My hypothesis that I came up with was that in its ideal form, Masonry would be a transformative event in one's life, or a transformative process, and that from what I hear, again, not being a tattooed person, the tattoos that are sort of the best, if you will, are the ones that mean the most to the person that they're on. And if this is truly a life-changing, transformative process for you, that sort of feeds into wanting to have the tattoo. I'm not sure I expressed that well, but
I think you got it out perfectly. I think that is one of those things where it becomes, especially for our dedication to tattoo, or for Freemasonry. I mean, we take an oath. We take a very specific oath that is supposed to stick with us till our till we join the grand architect of the universe. And so I think that becomes almost like a permission, because the tattoo is such a permanent thing. It's all right. We have a kid, we get our kid's name tattooed, because there'll always be our kid. Mason tattoo will always be a Mason. So I think that becomes kind of what goes through the head as far as Masonic tattoos. I think they go hand in hand in some cases.
Yeah, I think we were talking about tattoos before, and Steven, one of our co-hosts that normally is here, he was saying it's a milestone moment. Those are the things that he has gotten tattooed on himself, or things that were milestone moments. He was a DMLA, and so he's got a DMLA tattoo, and past master. I think he's got a past master tattoo, and just recently he got a Masonic podcast tattoo on
no
his
kidding.
arm. Yeah, awesome. pretty amazing. It was actually really cool looking. So it's like you said, it's a milestone moments that they want to remember and memorialize, and what better way to do it than in a tattoo? And there are some amazing drawings and portrayals, and I don't even know what you call them. I apologize. They're amazing.
So to our audience out there, send us pictures of your Working Tools podcast tattoos. We'd like to see them.
Yeah, there you go. We'll post them up on the YouTube channel. Put them in the
I believe
comments.
there's even a Facebook page that's dedicated to Freemason tattoos. It's I
Cool.
subscribe to one of them. I think I'm on that one of the main Mason pages, and then the Grumpy Pastmaster page.
Yes.
I think I got a not premature, hopefully not, but a expedited pass into that one.
Yeah, that's a good group. They put some funny stuff up there once in a while. That's pretty good.
Yes, they do.
Well, they say once you're a master, worship master, you're a past master immediately. So you are a grumpy past master, whether you know, depending on when you're grumpy, I suppose. I don't know.
Well, it's
unfortunately,
blast,
and unfortunately, you're not with this current climate. You've not been able to really be the master, right? When were you installed?
Installed last November.
Yeah,
so I've only had a few meetings. However, we've tried, especially when COVID immediately hit, we were our work didn't stop by any means. Our main goal, one of our brothers, Brother Adam Alsobrook, was quick to jump on to getting a list of our older members and checking up on them, making sure they had groceries, making sure that they had food and supplies that they needed, so they didn't have to go out and put themselves in danger of catching this virus. What was nice, what was very surprising to see is like they all have families that are taking care of them. There's a few that are in homes, so they're also being taken care of. I think then it evolved more to, all right, what brothers aren't getting communicated with? So I think that's our next step, is to maybe do a line of a call list to call up brothers who aren't able to communicate or socialize all too much. But I don't think the work stops by any means. We just find a different way to do it, for sure.
I think I'm almost as busy, maybe a little bit more, honestly, than I was even when I was going to meetings. The only thing that's different is I don't have the half hour to an hour travel time on either end of the meeting, which is great. I really like walking over to my desk and having the meeting here. But literally every night of the week, I think it was every night of the week last week, I had a Masonic meeting of some kind, or I'm the geek. I'm a little bit of a geek, and so I do recordings and things, and I'm editing and all that stuff in the background. But every day I had something Masonic going on but it's great. If it's better than that, then being depressed and sitting on the couch, I guess. Although I do have my fair share of that too, I think. But sitting on the couch, not being depressed. But
there we go.
Yeah, Mrs. Colbeth has told us to sign you up for more things. So
yes, exactly. So Ben, what was your first tattoo? Did you, of course, you probably received a tattoo before you became a tattoo artist, or was that not the case? Did you tattoo yourself, or how did that start?
Well, I got my first tattoo the day after my 18th birthday. As soon as I could, I jumped right on it. I didn't do my first tattoo until I was, I want to say 27. And I tattooed my own leg. Traditionally, and I don't know if this is the case that much anymore, but traditionally what you would do is you learn as much as you can by watching, and then you take on learning how to set up your machine, learn how to listen for it, the way that it works, and then you tattoo yourself. One of the reasons being for that is that, one, you're living with your work. So you want to do the best job that you can. The moment you touch that machine, you want to make sure that you're doing the best work you can. And that should be the mentality every time you touch that machine. Secondly, you also get a feel for what you're doing to yourself. The example I usually give is if you have a line that's 12 inches long, you got to pull. If you do that on yourself, you start from start to finish and go one end to the other, that's going to be excruciating. So you learn that, like, okay, I need to break that up a little bit so I'm not putting somebody else through unnecessary torture. And it's also kind of emblematic of the fact of, like, the joke's always, you never trust a skinny cook. If you're getting, if you're gonna get tattooed by somebody, they better have some tattoos. And so that's also kind of like that. Yeah, before you do it on anybody else, you got to do it on yourself.
I've heard that before. Somebody said, when you're practicing, your first two canvases are right in front of your lap there. Right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's when I did both my legs. The first one I did was a Sailor Jerry pinup girl, and it goes from my knee up to like towards. It's a good probably about 11 inches long and about 6 inches wide. And I don't know why I picked such a big piece, other than I thought, oh, more lines, more practice, way to go. But I got down to the end of that thing, and I was practicing what I think Lamaze breathing or something like that, trying to get through that last line. And then, but the beginning of it was pretty exciting because I was so pumped to do it and like hold the machine that I didn't really feel all at first until towards the end there. But that second one, all the excitement of it got gone out the window, and then I just realized, oh, I'm just torturing myself. But I still got it done, so I was very proud of that.
Very cool. Out of curiosity, do you have a Masonic tattoo, or are you?
Funny enough, not yet. And I want to say it's almost harder because I have talked with some tattoo colleagues of mine about getting my Masonic tattoo, and they won't do it. They won't do it. They're like, I don't touch stuff like that because I don't know the symbology. Like, you don't need to. I need to know it. So like, all I need to do is give you my design that I got idea. But it's interesting because many brothers come up asking that want to get a tattoo by a fellow Mason, which I'm very honored, and I do my best to do the best work. But then where can I get my Masonic tattoo? I'm just kind of stuck in a weird spot.
the cobbler's children have no shoes, eh?
Have to connect with David again, huh?
Actually, yeah, we could hook you up with the guy in BC that.
Oh yeah, I believe there's a couple. I did meet. I did a guest spot over in Spokane, and the guys over at On the Level Tattoo are Masons. Yeah. And also, I'm sorry. There is. Oh my goodness, he would kick my butt for forgetting. Keith Bailey up in Anvil Tattoo in Marysville. Hey, he's
okay. I think I've met him.
Master Lodge up there, and then there is Lion's Paw Tattoo just south of there. And again, I need my butt kicked right now because I am forgetting names. But Lion's Paw Tattoo, the owner there is a really good dude. I guess by there, but met two guys over at On the Level Tattoo, and they were really good. I kind of surprised them a little bit because they're older than me, and again with traditional tattoo shops, there's a bit of a hierarchy going on. But when I walked in, I mentioned, I heard there's Masons working here, and they're like, yeah, can we help you? It's like, I'm a senior warden at Seattle University Lodge 141, and it was just a quick 180. Like, sorry, we're just we're junior. I think they were deacons. There's a whole flip that just threw me for a loop because all of a sudden they're like, oh no, sorry, we're good to have you here. Oh, it's great, and we had a good time. Got to chat with those guys, but yeah, I need to get my tattoo. I imagine
it'd be hard to choose because you know the infinite options in that world, and so
you took the words right out of my mouth. It's exactly what it is. I've been trying to figure out what I want to put together to make it work, but I get wrapped up too much in my own head.
Our current master just got two pillars, the left and right hand pillars on his under forearm.
Oh, very cool.
And he's a gamer as well, so he had a six-sided dice and a 12-sided dice. I don't even know. I'm not a gamer person, so or a table gamer.
I would hope a 20-sided die.
20, yeah. So he's got, but on the die, he's got Masonic symbols on the die faces. So it's a pretty amazing design that he put together, and it's not just not just the columns. It's columns plus whatever else symbolism he could put in there. But and they fill up pretty much the whole arm. It's pretty amazing.
Well, that is great.
You won't get any flack for not having Masonic tattoo from the two of us because we're the two non-tattooed ghosts. So
my standing joke is that you don't see bumper stickers on Ferraris. So
that's very good. That's very good.
I stole that from somewhere. I don't even know.
Before I forget, Jimmy Walters is the owner of Lion's Paw Tattoo.
Okay.
So if he's listening, I'm so sorry, brother, that I didn't get the name right off the bat.
I think there's probably a lot of I know there's some south down here. I'm down in Vine Lake. My lodge is Auburn. But I know there's some south, like Olympia area too. I mean, I think there's salt and peppered all over the place. We just don't. They don't advertise themselves, or and so I think that they're there. People are out there. If you start asking around. But
yep, I wouldn't doubt it. Again, I think a big surprising thing about you never know where you're going to find a Mason, or what. I think the working tools, and that really spoke to me. Just ran parallels with the equipment that I use tattooing, and I think I wouldn't be surprised. There's a lot of tattoo artists that a very similar parallel. That how could you not want to at least learn more, if not become a part of it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's an interesting, definitely an interesting overlap in two different worlds. Like I said, as Masons are getting younger and the tattooing is becoming more accepted, it's definitely an interesting overlap of those two worlds. So with that, I think we're wrapping up the end of our segment here, our time today. So I guess, Ben, is there anything else exciting you'd like to add or throw in there at the last minute here?
No, I think we put my Instagram out there. If anybody has any questions about tattoos, I'm always happy to answer them. If you're ever in the Seattle area and we get back to having meetings, would love to have you guys. Always feel free to stop by, say hi. We're the first Monday of every month. And we're actually doing Table Lodge tomorrow.
Oh, really?
A virtual one?
We did our very first Table Lodge last year at the lodge, and this will be obviously the very first Zoom Table Lodge.
Nice.
I can't guarantee it's going to be on point. I'm trying to figure out how to do it so it works in the confines of a Zoom meeting, but it should be fun. If you guys have a Canon, want to join, feel free.
I know Frank S. Land in Des Moines did a virtual Table Lodge too, and it was they tried to keep it organized for a while, but they're a pretty fun group too, and it went this way.
Yeah,
pretty fast.
As long as we can read through those 7 toes, after that, we should be fine.
So for those listening, we're Sunday the 2nd right now. So by the time this gets on air, that'll be long gone. So we'll be curious to know how it went. We'll be curious to know how it went and how that goes. But I think you alluded to the working tools and how, when you say working tools, you mean the working tools of tattoo, as well as and as well as Masonic tattoo working tools. And so I think we'd like to have you back for another show here. And
if you wouldn't mind coming on to do another segment with us, we'll have another episode with Worshipful Brother Ben. You willing to come back?
Would love to come back. Absolutely.
All right. So with that, I'm Matt Appel, and on behalf of David Colbeth, we'd like to thank you, Worshipful Brother Ben, who is, I should say, the current Worshipful Master of University 141 and a tattoo artist here in Seattle. And I want to thank you for coming on the show, and I'm going to wish everybody a good night. Thanks, Ben.
Thank you for having me. My honor.